Right, we're going to play a little game. That game is called How Much Range Do We Get on a Zero S? So on 93%, that's a starting gate. Of course we're in kilometers an hour. Oh, you bastards. Do you know what? I feel more exposed for the fact that it doesn't have any noise. It kind of hammers home the point to you that you are exposed and that you're vulnerable. There's a weird, eerie silence. I think I've gotten used to the whole not having a clutch thing. My left hand feels so relaxed. It's like a top side of beef. Still an eco. I'm saving it really. I want to try some enjoyment when I get to Epping Forest. Which is of course where I'm headed, because at least the trees will distract us all from this grey skyline. And I say that, they're not going to have any foliage, so maybe they won't. At least the twigs and sticks will distract us from this monochromatic skyline. No one else is here. Is it picturesque? Nope. See that big old 5-year slapped on there? I get it, you got 5 years. You trust your batteries, I understand. Off you go.
Hey, who wants to know what a 79 foot-pound standing start looks like on a bike that weighs the same as my thumb on a rainy day? You? Okay, let me just... Yeah, you too? Good.
Well, let's be honest. It was fun getting it here on Eco, but I think I've paid my dues now. I have to go for something slightly better. Alright. Full power, baby. Ho 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 ho. Acceleration is not my friend, Joey. It is not my friend.
Trust me, if it looks bad on a camera, it's worse in real life. If your GoPro can pick it up, then it wasn't great on the day. And it woke me up. You know, I didn't need the coffee after that particular excursion. Now, some of you will have seen my original review of the FXS. Obviously, on the same day, I took out the S model. Let's start with the price. How much does this thing cost? £9,190 for the base model with the 7.2 kilowatt hour battery. Let's talk about height and weight. It is 807 millimeters tall, so pretty standard, and it is 142 kilograms. So actually pretty light, but then again, like I say, it has the smaller battery, and the bigger battery comes with much more weight and a little bit more power as well.
Yeah, it feels light enough. It really doesn't feel that heavy. The battery's obviously more towards the front there and low down. So I guess that alters the feel slightly, marginally. Apparently you're on now. Oh, you really are. Just turn the key with the kickstand up and you're good to go. Ta-da.
Front and rear suspension is from Showa, and it is fully adjustable. I say fully adjustable for preload, compression and rebound damping. So you get a lot of flexibility there with the suspension. It comes up a little bit stiff because I guess because of this the battery element to this, you want it to carry its weight well. So they've tried to stiffen it up a little bit.
As I say, the ride is quite comfortable, but it is noticeably stiff. The seat is very comfortable. Yeah, very well made. The suspension feels on the stiff side, or on the sporty side I should probably say, because it's not uncomfortable and it's not jarring me as it's going over bumps. Yeah, it feels okay. Ooh, a little twitchy, a little alive.
Brakes, we have the same as the FXS. We have the Jejuan on the front and the Bosch brake pads, and we're rocking with a 2-piston 320mm disc and a 240mm disc on the back, and it is single disc on the front. On a bike like this, I'd argue that that is slightly less than you need. They felt a little bit sharper in response than the FXS, but a little bit less as far as power because of course it's heavier. The ergonomics are a little bit strange in that you are properly thrust forward, practically the most I've been on any bike. You're certainly properly over the handlebars. You've got a lot of leverage over there. Now I was concerned that I wasn't really getting the most out of the bike. I felt like, you know, trust the tyres, it'll be there a little bit more. On that point, I should also say they're Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2. They're a pretty decent street tyre, but I went round a corner, and again, I'll show you the clip. I'm not sure if it really translates that much, but I felt it start to skip away and lose traction just a little bit. All I can say is that its handling is not confidence inspiring.
Now I know the weather isn't that great, and I know the tyres aren't absolutely, well, they're not absolutely brand new, they're newish. Well, this thing is skitting around. I can feel it lose traction.
Most of the stuff you'll see from people is straight line, standing start, all about the speed. And it is very impressive, don't get me wrong, but I would like a bike to handle as well. As I say, the version that I got has the 7.2 kilowatt hour battery. It is the smallest you can get for this particular bike. It also comes with a 5-year warranty. The bike comes with a 2-year warranty. Eventually, you'll probably need to get a new battery. And for BMW, I know they come in at about £4,000. I can only assume it's very similar for the Zero. £4,000, that's practically an engine rebuild. If you have to spend that every, let's say 5 years, worst case scenario, that's expensive. I won't put too much conjecture into that because of course it's untested, it's the unknown. Maybe we'll get to the end of 5 years and actually realise the batteries are good for at least 7 to 10. But as it stands right now, it's a risk. Now, a very important point, and probably the biggest point that I had from everyone, in fact, anyone I ever pulled up to and spoke to about these kinds of bikes, anyone I had a conversation with after the fact, always had one question: what is the range of that vehicle? And on this bike, because it is a little bit heavier than the FXS, you actually get 88 miles to a full tank in a city. Say full tank, full power. Then you get 44 miles if you're going on the motorway at an average speed of 17 miles an hour. Combine the two, you get 60 miles claimed from Zero. I don't dispute that. I would say that's felt about right to me and what I rode it on. Get a bigger battery, you pretty much get double the distance. Is that good enough? Only you'll be able to tell me. What's the charge time then if you are running out of fuel fairly quickly? Well, it takes 5.2 hours to charge it to full. With a tank charge, you can get that down to 1.5 allegedly. But for home use, the maximum you're going to be able to get is 3.1 hours. That's dictated more by your actual house's power output than anything else.
And go.
So then we come to probably the most important point with electric bikes, and something that everyone talks about: the power and the straight line speed of that thing. So top speed, we're talking 86 miles an hour. Continuously that can do 80 miles an hour because of course it does drop off a little bit. That's just the peak is 86 and the sustainable speed is about 80. We're talking 31 brake horsepower. Don't get too hung up on that figure. It is not that impressive, I'll admit. But what is impressive is that it makes 79 foot-pounds of torque from a standing start practically, which is more than a Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200, which I've mentioned previously, and is an insane amount of torque to put through a bike when it doesn't have traction control. And what happens when you don't have traction control? Well, this happens. Clearly, I'm a plank and I put in too much throttle. I didn't roll it round to the stops. I didn't do anything too dramatic. Now, with a petrol engine, I know where my limits are. I know how much I can tease that. With an electric engine, obviously it caught me off guard. But I'm not the only one. I'm not the only idiot out there. And whilst I didn't come off, I have heard of other people actually coming off on their test day. I would say for Zero going forward, it would be good to look into traction control for this bike, especially when you consider its power output. It is clutchless, of course, which means your left hand has nothing to do but gesture at people. Now, whatever your opinion on the noise debate for electric vehicles, whether you like it, whether you miss it from your personal bike, whether it's something that you find enjoyable, you do get some kind of a whir. There is a bit of a noise with these things, but certainly not enough to stop pedestrians walking out on you or people changing lanes because they don't know that you're there. I will still maintain my original point that if you have an exhaust note, and I have tried and tested this, people can move over, or they will at least know you're there from a much further distance. It's the same reason we have high vis, because if you're wearing high visibility, people can see you from a distance. You're easy to spot. If someone can hear you, they will look out for a bike. They can make that as fun and as silly as they want. If I was a designer working for Zero, I can't believe they haven't looked into manufacturing some kind of artificial noise. How fun would it be to choose your favorite MotoGP bike and program it in?
I'm going to give this my own sound effects. There is spit all up the inside of my screen. No one can hear me coming. Yeah, I'm on stealth mode. Come on, BMW. I had my money that you would not be murked off on standing start by a Volkswagen Up. They were keener than you were. Isn't that embarrassing? Yeah, you're on your phone. You're not even up to the line. Give me a challenge, dude. Also, get off your fucking phone.
For Zero and for electric bikes, honest to God, which one did I prefer out of the S or the FXS? The FXS. It hits its market more accurately than the S does. You're not going to be going touring on this thing. What you want from an electric bike in a city is something that is light, agile, and very quick off a light. And the FXS feels a little bit more sprightly because it has the same battery, but it is in a lighter frame. It feels a lot more agile than this. It's perfectly comfortable for the amount of miles that you'll be doing, and it just gets around a little bit freer. Not a bad start. Points for effort, points for being the first commercially viable electric motorcycle company and doing it really well and showing everyone else where they might need to go. And I absolutely think that in a few years' time, the Zero market, the Zero motorcycles, will be much more interesting and appealing to the market they're aiming for right now. That about wraps it up for me. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, if you've got more questions, feel free to leave them down below. There's more to talk about than I managed to get across in this video. It's very difficult to condense into 10-15 minutes, but I will try and get back to you as fast as I possibly can. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, show it some love, click on the red button down there, obviously, and you can see some more videos from me, much more coming this summer. Thanks again, and I'll catch you soon. Bye. Are you telling me it wouldn't be somewhat entertaining to have a selector wheel where you can choose as an option, make my bike sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Man, everybody, I've got to get to work. Man, I'm already late. It's the noise he makes. I believe I've seen impressions. He sort of sounds like one of those tubes. It doesn't work on the cold-hearted. That wouldn't make your commute shorter. All right, it's just me. All right, okay.